What's up, everybody? So if you have messaged me over the last 3 or 4 months asking what mountain bike tires I think you should use, every single time I've had the same exact answer, and I wanted to take the opportunity to make this video. The answer to your question is Vittoria Peyote tire. This is my personal opinion, but this is the best mountain bike tire on the market right now. There's a lot of interesting things to talk about as to why that is. As of today, you can now buy the Peyote in 2.25. I've been riding these 2.25s for about a month now on my Able. They freaking rock. I even did a whole race on them. That video will come out shortly after this one does. I raced this setup at War Daddy. As you can see, I Sharpied the logo out because I didn't want to break the embargo. I just told people I was running 2.4s if they asked, because I think it would fit a 2.4 in this bike if you tried. So yeah, the 2.25s, both the 2.4s and the 2.25s are available to purchase right now. Definitely click the link below or check it out on our website if you want to get yourself a set, which I think you should. I thought we would just do some quick measuring. I have this set up on a Revolve Control World Cup wheel, and I think this is a 29 internal rim. It measures exactly 2.4. 61 is the same as 2.4, so we're going to talk about this more later in this video, but they actually measure to what they're supposed to, which is a big deal in mountain bike tire world.
I feel like that's rare.
Yeah, that's what I mean. One of the things that I think is important about these tires is like they're also like reasonably tall. Like I know this measurement isn't talked about a lot, but again, like if you've ever talked to me about this, the reason I don't like run the Rick XC is because of how small they are, and I'll demonstrate that later on in this video. This is the 225 on the Zip Explorer wheel, so this is going to probably measure a little bit bigger than it says, but nope, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. I know it's about a 2.3 on this rim, so this measures to like about a 59, so a 2.3 is what that's measuring. So that makes sense with this rim, because remember, these rims are actually wider than these ones. So I'm gonna quickly remove this off the wheel so we can weigh it, because this video is being filmed about a week and a half before the release of this tire, and I actually don't know what the claimed weight is, so I'll be right back. I know this is like a small little thing, but I think Silca makes the best one of these, the injector thing. I don't use it to inject sealant, but this is I'm gonna reuse this sealant after I film this video, and they have figured out the best one. So shout out to Silca for that.
Just the best syringe.
Yeah. So it's not like fresh out the box, but I'm just gonna weigh it anyway. I don't have another one of these, so we don't really have a choice.
I feel like having the sealant gunk in there is more realistic for life, you know?
760 grams for the 2.25, and this is a 2.4. 7. So it's lighter. The 2.4 is lighter. So ultimately, I don't necessarily care about that, but they're still lighter than like a Maxxis Aspen. Not the lightest option, but that is part of the reason why I think this tire is so incredible, is that it's actually functional. It's the closest thing that I've found. Most people would consider this like a sketchy XC tire, right? But it's the closest thing I've found that's both a sketchy XC tire that is also functional without making a compromise in your riding style. The tire actually has traction. Even though it's a fast rolling tire, these things actually grip. This whole Peyote story kind of starts back at Ozark Gravel Doom this year, where I was looking for a tire that was fast, but also going to be puncture resistant. A year ago at Ozark Doom, I ran Thunderbirds, And one of the things about a Thunderbird is that it has almost zero braking traction, and the tires will break traction with the ground. And so instead of slowing down, you kind of start skittering down the hill. And with a loaded down bike, I had to be really careful descending. The big difference about the Peyote in braking traction is that it has plenty of braking traction, so you don't have to worry about the bike sliding out whenever you're doing long gravel descents with these. And that also translates to the trail too. I think if you've ever ridden a Thunderbird on XC Trail, it feels incredible until you have to like corner with it. The lugs on this tire are actually big, and so cornering with these is comfortable and appropriate. Personally, I think it's on par with tires that have much bigger tread than this.
I actually like this tire better than the majority of other like mountain bike tires I've tried that do have bigger tread. I feel speedy, but I don't feel like I'm gonna die cornering. The only time I had a ton of issues was at Kahata, but that was super muddy.
The one downside to this tire, I think, is traction in mud specifically. Wet rocks, this does great because it has a great contact patch with the ground. Where it's bad is actual mud. I wanted to make that distinguished because during Ozark Doom, I did the Buffalo Headwaters Trail, and the trail wasn't muddy, but the rocks were wet, and this gripped amazing. But at Kahata, it was more actual mud kind of on the dirt. If you guys remember the Mohican recap video, I put the Mezcal on the front, and that combo of having a little bit more traction on the front for muddy day, this worked beautifully well. In fact, I described it as the best tire combination for a specific event I've ever had. Running the Peyote on the back kept the bike speedy. Putting the Mezcal on the front was what let me not crash, if that makes sense.
You basically had traction on the front, speed on the back.
Yeah, there's not really any data about the gravel side of things. You're just gonna have to trust my opinion. But with the mountain bike side, we do have rollingresistance.com, some comparisons to some tires that I think are relevant. So the Peyote scored a 20 watts, 20.5 watts on their test. This included some of the best wet grip they've ever tested, along with, this is important in my view, which is that this is also one of the best tread puncture resistant tires that on the market. And ultimately that was actually the reason I originally decided to run them at Ozark Doom, because it's sharp out there. Combination of durable and fast is what I'm looking for. Ultimately there are faster tires than the Peyote, but the compromises you have to make to use those other tires, I think, are weighing down those other tires. Like I would run these every day at any event, whereas I would not really want to do that with like a Thunderbird. I pulled up two tires from Rolling Resistance that I wanted to kind of compare to. The Rick XC is one of them. This tire is slightly faster at 18.5 watts, not as good puncture at all, and a little bit less good in the wet. The Rick is such an undersized tire, and I don't understand why that is. This is a Rick inflated on a Reval. It measures to 2.3, which is a lot less than the 2.4, but this is the thing that I wanted to kind of show everybody. This is so hard to measure. I'm trying to just eyeball this. Actually, I don't think there's a way to really show that off on camera.
There's no good way to show that.
Yeah, the Rick is undersized is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you can tell that from the other measurement I took. Being undersized is the main reason why I don't use these, even though they are excellent. I do recommend this tire. If you're okay with a smaller tire, then definitely the Rick is one to check out. Where's the scale? I think it's slightly lighter than the Peyote, or I guess we're gonna find out. I can weigh it. Significantly heavier than the Peyote, even though it is also significantly smaller than the Peyote. So there's some trade-offs to be had. Although this does roll faster, it's not as favorable in what I would long-term like practicality, like day in, day out use, like the Peyote I prefer because it has a little bit higher volume tire. That also leads us to a tire that has a higher volume. Yeah, I'll weigh in Aspen. Where are my ST 2.4s? That's the thing
I don't know where you guys put stuff.
Yeah. These are 225s. Aspen ST. This tire had a 25.5 watt rolling, the slowest one of all the tires I'm going to talk about today. It is also the heaviest. Oh, it's the lightest. Ooh. Why did I think it was the heaviest?
I don't know where you're getting your thoughts from.
I don't either. So that's the lightest. And that's I did not expect that. This is the 170 TPI version of the tire, just so everyone's clear. These usually measure to be like 2.5. Oh, this is a 225. You'll just have to trust me. Maxxis Aspen STs inflate to like 2.5. The ST I thought would be a lot heavier, so maybe that tire is a lot better than I'm giving it credit for. In my experience, I prefer the normal Aspens over the STs. What in the heck? That's why I thought it was heavy.
Because the normal Aspens are heavy.
What in the heck? I didn't realize the ST was that light. How is it that it's not that big of a difference?
You are in a full like rabbit hole.
Well, maybe these STs are sick. Wait, now it says 750. Oh, zero that out.
Oh God.
Okay, so I didn't do the scale right. This is my second favorite tire, which is the normal Aspen. I really like these 170 TPI Aspens, and I highly recommend them. These have the biggest volume, although you do pay a price in the rolling resistance. The Peyote is threading the needle of being good at everything at all times, and that's why I like it. I wish the Peyote was as big as this, because I like the bigger volume. I'd rather have a bigger volume tire. But I'm paying a small volume penalty for a significant rolling speed advantage with the Peyote over the Aspen. Although I still highly recommend these Aspens because I think the 170 TPI Aspens are incredible. And maybe I need to give the STs a little bit more of a shot than I originally did. We're gonna do rolling tests with these, so stay tuned for more tire comparison videos. That leads me to the last tire before we talk about how the Peyotes did on the gravel, which is the Dubnitol. I know that this is a 2.4 Dubnitol, and I know that it measures correctly to 2.4, so the volume on this is good. These are like equal in terms of the volume, very much exactly 2.4. These have no cornering traction in dry conditions. They're scary. My opinion on the Dubnitol is that it is a gravel tire. It feels like a gravel tire. It's kind of compromised. It's not quite as scary as the Thunderbird. It just does not offer any grip that you would want for like a legit mountain bike tire. If you're okay with that, these are incredibly fast. They haven't tested them yet, but I am assuming they will test very well in the rolling resistance test. The Peyote just grips twice as hard as this does. And I'm gonna pick that every time. We're gonna do more testing with these mountain bike tires kind of in the same way we do the gravel test. For now, I would leave the Dubs to the gravel roads if I just had to give my 2 cents. Unless you're down with some sketchy tires. Yeah.
What are you doing now?
What's the next race I'm doing that's a mountain bike race? Probably Wilderness 101. Peyotes, front and rear. Shenandoah, Peyotes, front and rear. Madahe, Peyotes, front and rear. Like, I've already decided that's what I'm going to run, you know?
Can I totally derail this video for a second? I have my Top Fuel posted on Facebook to sell it.
Yeah.
This person just asked if I wanted to trade it for a Chevy Suburban 1500.
Maybe.
That's the first time I've ever gotten that question. I'm just over here chuckling.
Do you want a Suburban?
Not really.
That could be cool.
Comment below if you think this is a good trade.
Yeah, and check out our used parts section on the website. We try to update it as quickly as we can, but there's always cool stuff going up. Roval DT240 wheel set is currently listed for sale on the website, and if you want it, check it out. lot of used stuff that we use in the videos ends up there. So if you're looking for used stuff, definitely keep an eye on it because it's ever changing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna reinstall this. We're gonna do something interesting. I wanna see if these will fit a MOG because I don't know if they will or not. I haven't tried that yet. But anyway, what I wanted to say about the peyotes on the gravel is that they are really fast, but they feel a little sluggish on pavement. You are definitely not in as much need for the grip as you are with the mountain bike. And I do think that the peyote on the gravel is fast, but on the pavement is slow. It's funny how noticeable it is. Like you ride like from the road to a gravel road, and it just feels like the bike accelerates. Even if you're just coasting, it feels like the bike accelerates the second you hit the gravel. What I really enjoy about running the peyotes on the gravel, kind of the same thing that I was talking about with the mountain bike, which is that they are so trustworthy descending and have an abundance of grip on the gravel. The race I did, and again, that video will come out soon, it was called War Daddy, and the race is honestly a mountain bike race.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, yes, it's always been a mountain bike race.
They had a little bit of a course change up, and we all raced gravel bikes this year. And I ran the peyotes. Peyote does not fit a MOG. Okay, so 225 peyote does not fit a MOG. I just wanted to make sure that we knew that for a fact.
Oof, yeah, that's a no-go.
We always get questions like, does it fit a MOG? And so I'm gonna try to like show off if it fits a MOG, y'all.
So it's able only.
Yeah, or if your bike fits a 225. I do have, man, we're just talking about so many tires today.
That's why I keep saying you are in like one big rabbit hole.
Yeah, but yeah, the peyote on the gravel bike is for the person who wants a really fast tire, but legit does want to like maybe go on some off-road double tracks, some mountain bike trails. I did that War Daddy race, and that's kind of what it was. It was like super gnarly, like Cat 4 gravel. This is probably the best option that I can think of if you also have an Allied Able.
It's getting very specific.
Yeah, I think more bikes are gonna have tire clearance for this kind of thing coming up, but right now, if you have an Allied Able, definitely think about these because it really fits with the bike. Going downhill with this tire gave me ridiculous amounts of confidence. And for me personally, I had just had so much fun on them because it's effectively like you're riding a big aerodynamic gravel bike. While I don't think it's gonna be taking the place of the Thunderbird as my favorite gravel tire, I think it's in solid second place as my second favorite gravel tire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Burt, like normal gravel riding, I think I like the Burt better. But for extreme gravel riding, this thing 100%. And it's more durable too. Like you're not worried about flatting this peyote like you are with the Burt. Highly recommend the peyote, especially if you're doing like an ultra long like bike packing kind of deal.
Basically, the peyote is the move if you're out there doing stuff.
Yeah, it's always the move on the mountain bike though. Like,
agreed.
Yeah, so peyote always on the back, and then you switch the front depending on what kind of terrain.
We need like a chart or like we need a guidebook.
Yeah.
This is so much.
Have you guys ever used these Torino T50?
Welcome to the Vittoria rabbit hole.
I'm gonna try these tonight. I haven't tried them yet. They're really big.
I've always liked Vittoria gravel tires.
All of their new stuff is awesome. I used to not like them at all. So this is measuring to 53. This is a 50. I mean, that's huge. Kind of in the sweet spot of the MOG. Like, honestly, they should revise the MOG's tire clearance to be 53 because it is. And
tell Envy.
I am going to whenever I go to Grodio. But yeah, I think I'm going to try these tires out for Grodio, actually. I'm going to run this setup. I just wanted to take a second to make this video.
Take a second. This has been so long.
I just really like the Peyote tires. I even have a Peyote t-shirt that I didn't wear
I'm
today.
shocked you didn't wear it.
I didn't know we were doing this video today, or I would have, and I didn't want to go home and get it. But if y'all want some Vittorino tires, hit us up. Go to the website and buy them. We got a bunch in stock. Personally, did not like their tires before, and I can 100% guarantee that their new tires are incredible, and they deserve a bunch of credit for that, because I didn't like the old ones. The tread is the same, and they're incredible now. Big shout out to Vittoria, and thanks for sending me those 225 peyotes to make this video with, because that was super fun, and we'll see you in the next one.